Hey guys, here we are back again in Euro Truck Simulator 2 with Night Angel Marine. Let's get on the road. Let's take this load. So, it would seem that quite a few of you are liking my truck driving channel here in Euro Truck Simulator 2. And it would seem that a lot of you guys like that I can talk about the real world of truck driving. And I like that you guys like that. But here's the thing. You know me, I'm a very quiet man. And even though I've got years of experience in truck driving, talking by myself it wouldn't last long. So here's what I need you guys to do for me. All those questions you ever wanted to ask a truck driver, post them down there in the comments. I'll get them answered. Or any questions you might have about truck driving in general, or any question you might have about truck driving, period. We'll put it at that. Because if I don't know the answer, I'll find the answer for you. Because I know truck driving. And we are in the wrong lane. Whoa. Oh, okay, it's wipers. Scared the hell out of myself. And we should have the lights on. There we go. Okay. So, anyway, I thought today, since last time we talked about, now it's gonna stop raining, huh? Okay. Since last time we talked about the distances and whatnot that a truck driver can drive, I thought today we'd talk a little bit about, the lifestyle of being a truck driver. More along the lines of, well, I guess just the lifestyle in general. I don't know how long it will take us to discuss all this, but so if you wanted to become a truck driver first, okay, well, hang on, let me back up a little bit. If you're here in America, okay, I can only speak for America, because I've never even thought about driving overseas, okay? But here in America, the first step to becoming a truck driver, usually... Come on, truck, turn, damn you. Shit. I hate how this can't frickin' turn. It's driving me batty. Anyway, so the first step to becoming a truck driver, at least here in America, would be to acquire your CDL, your Class A CDL. Now what exactly does that entail? Well, the first part of that is studying the books. Kind of, I believe. Yes, I believe. Like getting your normal Class C or D license here in America. You gotta go first, you gotta study the books in a class or by yourself, and then you gotta pass a written test. Except for truck drivers, you gotta pass 3 written tests. You gotta pass the safety and regulation. You gotta pass the air brakes, and you've got to pass the safety and regulation and the basic driving. Okay, that's the first thing you gotta do. Then the second thing is now that you've got your your written permit, now you go out there usually with school. School is how I did it. You don't have to do it that way. And you get in a semi-truck and you train. And depending on where you're at, you could be training for, I think some go as long as 3 months, and some, like the one I went to, was 3 weeks. And you train and you train and you train on how to drive a truck. A real truck, mind you, not this computer stuff. And, well, I mean, this is... Actually, I can't say this very close at all, but... But it is a truck driving game, dadgummit. Okay, anyway, so you're out there on the road, you're learning how to drive a truck, and you learn how to drive a truck, your school's happy with you, or what have you. And you've learned to double clutch and whatnot. And then you go back to, whoever certifies you for a CDL in your state, or, seeing as this is on YouTube, your country. And then once again you go back and you basically take the physical part of the earlier 3 tests. Safety and regulations, air brakes, although that includes now the vehicle inspection, and the driving. You gotta demonstrate that you can drive a truck and that you can back a truck through various maneuvers. Then once you've done that, you're either on your way to find a truck driving company to drive for, or you've already found one. I should have the right of way, little white car. Or you may have already found one and done the previous steps at their truck driving school that that company has set up. This must be a heavy frickin' load, my goodness. And then once you've done that, it varies, but usually you'll go out with a trainer out on the open road for another. Usually it's at least 3 months, every company that I know of. And some companies it's even longer than that. But you go out there, you go team driving with a trainer for, basically real life on the road experience to make sure you know what you're doing. And then usually, and I would advise, your next step is to become a company driver. and drive truck. And before you go into leasing a truck or buying a truck, I would recommend you be a company driver for at least a couple years to make sure you know the industry and that you like the industry, because the lifestyle of a truck driver is not what a lot of people think. I mean, sure, if you get a call, you know, basically what you see here in the game, if you call, you know, what we do, see in the country, well, guess it depends on your perspective. If you're talking about out the front windshield of your truck, so you're going down the road at 60 miles an hour, then you're absolutely right. If you think you can stop everywhere you want and look at the place, you're absolutely wrong. You're paid and expected to drive. And as we discussed last time, approximately 5 to 6 to sometimes even 700 miles per day. Every day. Now there is some rules and regulations in place. You can't just drive non-stop willy-nilly and be okay with it. Here in America, I can only speak for American rules and regulations. But here in America, what it is you can drive for 11 hours, and then you have to take 10 hours off, and then you can drive for 11 hours again, and then you can only drive 70 hours in an 8-day stretch. Now, mind you, you're like, okay, well, every 8th day you get a day off. And sometimes it works like that, don't get me wrong. But you also got to remember you're pulling in customers, and you're dropping and you're hooking, or you're unloading and you're loading, and you're doing all that too. And that's going to take up time. So usually, unless you've got a real good company that has a lot of dropping hooks, you're not going to run into that 70 and 8 period. You're usually going to be driving non-stop. Pretty much just as much as you can drive every day. Doesn't sound like the life for you? Well, then it's probably not. You gotta love driving like I do, I think, in order to enjoy the job, because that's what it is. You drive. Now, I don't want to paint a totally bad picture on it here for those of you that, oh my goodness, all you do is drive. I mean, it does have its perks. And I think I've even talked about some of those perks in the past. Shit, this truck can't steer. What the hell? If one of you guys know how to improve the rate of turn on this thing, greatly help me out, because my goodness. Anyway, so you do get 10 hours per day off. Unless you're not a long-haul driver, and then sometimes that can be fiddled with. But me personally, I like the 10 hours because you get a nice, good, long 8 hours to sleep, and then you get an hour for breakfast and an hour for supper. And that's also one of the perks. Some drivers cook their own meals and whatnot in the truck and try to save themselves money. And I say, you know, kudos to them for doing that. That wasn't me. One of the perks for me driving a truck was eating at a fast food joint or a restaurant every meal. It's one of the perks. At least I declared for myself. Like I say, some people don't do that. Some people try to save more money. And if you love to drive, it's a good job. Because that's what you do all day, every day. And it pays well. I have a very good friend that I personally know that still drives a truck down in Texas for an oil rigging company. Makes over $1,000 a week. As a truck driver, yeah, it's not too horribly hard to make. He wasn't red when I went through, I don't believe. I don't believe it was. Anyway, what more can I say about the truck driving life? It's not as glamorous as this, though, where you're making all the money you're making here. $1,000 a week is about the norm. Now, of course, starting out, you're going to make far less than that. In fact, starting out, I'd say you should only expect about half of that. But still, you know, $500 a week. You know, if you don't have anybody, you know, any wife or any kids depending on you, you know, and the company, in essence, pays for your rent and pays for your utilities and pays for many of the expenses you would otherwise incur because you live out of your truck. So even at that, it sounds a bit better than what it might sound in pocket, if you will. So it is a really good occupation for the right people. But if you're not a right people, it's not for you. Anyway, like I say, guys, post comments post comments, so I don't run out of things to talk about. Because that'll happen very, very soon if you guys don't. And even if it's not about this game, you know, if it's other stuff, we can talk about it in this game too. Just post in the comments so I know what to talk about. Whoa, that was close. That was too close for my likings. What the hell? There we go. There we are. You know what? I think we're gonna do one more. I don't think that one was very long. So let's find us another job here. I think we'll take this one. Yeah, we'll take this one. Almost looks like the same daggum route we were just on. In fact, I'm pretty sure it is the same daggum route we were just on. Maybe we don't want that route. Maybe we'll take this route. So what can we talk about now? Maybe some of the experiences that I've had. Let's see, what can I say about them? Without, what's the word? Infringing myself? Stuff that I've done that I that I shouldn't have done. Yeah, there's a lot of them stories. But I'm not too sure I should share those. Like, for instance, the time I encountered black ice in Dallas, Texas. Driving along, and all of a sudden a tractor was going sideways down the road, skidding on ice as the trailer was trying to get ahead of me. That was a scary experience. Tractor going 90 degrees sideways down the freeway. Yeah. That'll raise the hair on the back of your neck. First time experiencing black ice, too. Thankfully, I was raised in Idaho, so I knew if one does get in ice, how to correct it. Step on the accelerator and steer into it. That's exactly what I did, and I pulled out of it unscathed. And no one around me got hit either, so that was even more of a plus. Really? The hell, mate? You're gonna pull out in front of me and then slow the hell down. That's one thing I haven't experienced in the truck driving world. So I'm shaggering off doing that shit. They'll pull out in front of you. But I've never had one pull out in front of me and then brake. Hell, I've even had police officers and firemen pull out in front of me. Right in front of me. Way too damn close. Come on, you. What the hell are you going so slow for? We got a job to do. Oh shit, roundabout. And of course we got super brakes. Yeehaw! I tell you what, the AI in this is not the brightest. Any person out there on a real road would have saw a truck going through the roundabout and not tried to push him. At least not like that. The time that I experienced the difference between driving tired and driving fatigued. Fatigued is when you can't remember exactly where you are or how long you've driven. You just know you're out there on the road and you're driving. And that's a scary way to be. Driving tired is when you're mentally and physically worn out from driving. But you know exactly where you are and you can recall the last sign that you saw. That's driving tired. Sometimes as a truck driver you have to push it and you have to drive tired. But you should never, ever, for any reason, drive fatigued. Period. I don't care what your boss or what your dispatcher or what anybody says. You should never drive fatigued. When I learned my lesson on that, I was very, very lucky. I just clipped an abandoned vehicle on the side of the road. Like I say, I was very lucky. Let's see. What's another experience I can talk about? Several experiences I learned from my trainer, too. but I'm not exactly privileged to talk about those. I'm sure there's all sorts of questions I could answer for you guys. You just gotta ask in the comments. I also need you guys' help to, those of you that live in Europe, to help me decipher what these signs mean. Y'all got some really funky roads over there in Europe, I tell you what. Of course, that is assuming the y'all's roads over there is like they're depicted here. Which I understand could absolutely not be the case. I mean, this game, in all honesty, is the best simulator that I have found, period, of what it's like to be being a truck driver. Wow. The brakes on this is insane. Real life, fast as we were going, would have took us all the way to the stop sign, at least. Stoplight, at least, to come to a stop. getting all the way to the cars. This would be a much better estimation of how long it would have took. All this distance and come to a stop about here. See if I can do a halfway decent blindside alley back. Let's see. Start to say exactly. I'd guess about there. Bit off. But at this point, it's fairly easy to fix it. Although that was a horrible job of it. I am getting better at this, though. This slow wheel turning. There we are. Okay, white, good work. Oh, damage. Did we hit something? I forgot. Okay, now, like I say, in the truck driving world, you would absolutely go, all about fuel. However, I know in the game here, if you don't put some points into long distance, you're gonna bounce around from nearest town to nearest town to nearest town, not not really ever go anywhere. So we need to start putting at least a couple points in long distance here. We have $20,000, huh? I think we need a bit more. Anyway, that's definitely long enough for this time, guys. So, till next time, this Euro Truck Simulator 2 with Night Angel Marine. Till next time, guys.